Hello, Internet. I want to tell you I'm getting ready to review the Yongnuo, I believe that's the right way to say it, Yongnuo 600EX RT. I just got it in here from DHL. Yongnuo sent it to me because I reached out to them on Facebook and said, hey, I'll be a beta tester for you if you'd like. They said, hey, actually we're about done with it, but I've had a lot of good reviews get a lot of views, I guess is the right way to say it. And on my last video though, I did it on a Canon video camera, and that was in my studio. But hey, I'm in my kitchen. So the reason I'm in my kitchen is because I don't have a studio anymore. I don't have a studio anymore because the economy's changed. Everything's changed. Like sand beneath my feet after 22 years of shooting full time, it's all changed. But that's okay. You gotta look at lemons and say, I'm gonna turn them into lemonade, right? So I'm gonna unbox this 600 real quick. Part of the reason I'm excited about it is because the economy's changed. Canon, I can't afford a $500 flash. I need a good flash. That's just too much. Everything's changed, okay? So I want to provide a good deal for my customers, but I want to get a flash that's a good deal too. So let's unbox this sucker and see where we go. Stop. Okay, so as I open this up, I want to thank a good friend of mine, Chris. He's actually behind my iPhone now. And he's a professional pro too, been shooting for a long time like me. Has a studio of his own. He did the same thing I've done, moving the house. And you know what, by the way, I think it's okay. You know, heck, it helps my customers and it helps me. I just can't, you can't do the overhead. You know, even on like big retailers like Walmart and JCPenney and Sears and places that used to sell pictures, and they just closed their door too and don't have that anymore. And the reason is because, hey, let's face it, right now I'm making this video with an iPhone. And, you know, there's just a different demand for it. People still want good stuff, but hey, things have changed, so I'm trying to roll with the changes. Not providing prints as much as I am just digital files. Right, look at this. So that's how it came. That's pretty cool. I like the gold box. Looks neat. Lots of Chinese writing on top. But I'm not much on unboxing. I'm just going to make it a quick unbox. And then we're going to get into the actual using the flash in a practical way. I like videos that actually show me, hey, here's how it actually looks. So we got a little stuff. We got an instruction manual in here. Chinese first. Yep, looks like we get some English in the back part of it. So actually more than I thought would be here. They probably improved their manuals. I do currently have, sitting here in my box, a Yongnuo 563. That's to say, version 3 of the 560YN. So I like this a lot. It's fully manual though, doesn't have any TTL capabilities. I've used it for the last 3 months. I have 2 of them. I do have their battery pack too. Love it. I have their cool little flash thing, but all works great. So I've been impressed with a manual flash that they've had. So I went out and here we are. We got this bad boy. Let's open it up. Nice. Let's see if it's got the little, yep. It's got the little feet that I need. We're going to be testing it against the other Yongnuo, but we're also going to test it against, Chris brought his actual 600EX RT from Canon. So we're going to compare that along with the, let's see, what is this, Chris? Is it ST3 RT, I think, or something like that. So we're going to set them right down here. Let's look at them side by side. Pull this bad boy out. You know, but the biggest difference between these cameras, yep, it isn't how they look. It's the price. Dude, $500 for this thing in my right hand. I think $185 for this one. This thing better perform 3 times as good. So, you know, what, can you see it?
Yeah.
So Chris will direct me if I'm out of frame or something like that, I guess. But so it's got the little plastic thing on it. That's nice. Same height, same width. My goodness, if it wasn't for the labeling, I wouldn't know the difference. Same font. Same waterproofing looking. Gosh, I mean it's identical. But the cost, like I said, is different. There's a slight difference in the texture of the plastic, but not a whole lot of difference. Has the pop out for bouncing, as I recall, and I did have a set of 600s. Wow, No, it's about the same too. I love this 600. Let me just say that up front. I'm a Canon guy, probably a fanboy, some would say. I love Canon. They're good at stuff. I think they're just missing the boat on pricing on some stuff. But hey, maybe the market will correct that with this. So anyway, this 600 EXRT on my Canon 5D Mark III is amazingly accurate flash. Amazing. The TTL is really on top of it. So if this thing comes close, it'll be great. But I needed to come real close to this as far as exposure and accuracy. So let's take a look at that and let's practice it. But looks almost the same as far as unboxing goes. All right, so I open up put the batteries in. Little thing comes out, a little yellow piece. Oh, I better get that off of there. Looks like there's some plastic on the front of the autofocus beam. All right, anyway, it says warning, LiFePO4 and Li-ion, which is lithium ion type batteries, are not compatible. It says please use alkaline or NiMH. And I have those nickel metal hydride. I don't know, maybe that's a different kind. Yeah, nickel metal hydride is what I have here on these kinds. So I think all my batteries are that kind. They're not NiCads. I don't like NiCads. But anyway, these are good batteries, but I just want to point out there is a certain kind of battery. So let's just stick these in. Looks like it takes even the same pattern as the Canon one does. I do like to use rechargeables. I also have their Yongnuo pack. Okay. Chris, do you have a Canon pack, 8-pack of batteries?
Mine is for bolt, through bolt.
Through bolt, oh, through bolt. Well, let's compare it then, Yongnuo to Yongnuo, because I have another set here. Of course, we won't be, I mean, the charge rate will be fine and everything, but when you're doing high-speed sync, you need to have a battery pack so that the flash can keep up, assuming this is going to do high-speed sync and all that stuff. So, working good. There we go. Great. I also want to point out that. Oh, let's slide that. Oh, let me take that out. Let's slide this on here. Just put the Canon one. I've been told, what's it been now, that the Yongnuo STE3 RT, gosh, it's a mouthful, that it does work with the Canon receivers. The RT on this is their version, the Yongnuo. Again, which is which, they look just alike. But supposedly this will run this system, and you know, it's even got a green light. I mean, it's amazingly similar. It's great. So we're going to try to interchange these. We'll test a lot of things as much as I can, I think. I'm not a technical guy, certainly know enough technical stuff, but for those out there looking to critique the techniques, I'm just showing what it looks like in the real world. So let's get into this. First thing I'll notice, I wonder if that's coming from this pack. All right, so this pack is making some noise. I thought it was the flash. So if you hear a whining sound, that's what that could be. It could be from the pack, it looks like. Well, you know what? This one's got a red blinking light. I think these batteries are dead. Huh, interesting. Okay, so let's get into that. Oh, I wanted to point out this to you. So when I got my STE3 RT from Yongnuo, the first thing I noticed was that this little weathering, this rubber piece, it did come off real easily. And I finally decided that when I put it on my camera, I really don't miss it. It's not that big of a deal to me. But I do want to point out that's the first thing I noticed was that cheap rubbery thing didn't stay on. Never had that problem with the Canons when I had them. I just don't think it's a big deal, but I do want to point out that's the first thing I found out. So let's go to testing these bad boys and see how they work. Okay, so again, I want to make sure I understand. Not doing any technical test here. I'm trying to do real world type testing. So here's what I found. We just put on the 100. I've gotten snobby now. I've gotten to all primes since I've changed gear and changed my studio. I've always wanted to shoot all primes I am. I do have one zoom, that's the 17 to 40L. But I had on this 100 macro prime 2.8, which has the hybrid image stabilization, I think it's called. It's super beautiful. Anyway, I had that on there, and I put the Canon on, and it was able to work fine. The exposure was perfect, dead on. but the Canon was actually set to 24. We didn't realize that. It's set to 24 on the zoom. So naturally it made that a little bit softer of a feel to it. When we first put the Yongnuo on, it actually was a little more harsh of an exposure. But then again, it was picking up on the auto feature to set it to 80 for the 100. The lens breathes, at least Chris has explained to me, so therefore it's good that it's set at 80, not at 100. But anyway, so that looked harsher. Now what I did was I went in and I manually adjusted this to be at 24. And when I did that, then the exposure looked on target as far as Canon versus Yongnuo. Considering what I paid for this, or what you would pay for it, about $185, I think the exposure is pretty close. I do think Canon has a little edge on the exposure, but I haven't tested that completely thoroughly. I'm just telling you in a real world scenario, this was a little bit more harsh, but I'm talking a 1/10 of a stop. Not anything worth blowing a gasket about. And it may be this is more accurate or as accurate. I just not tested under ideal conditions. I will tell you that it synced right up, no problem, with the Yongnuo transmitter. Right out of the gate, that worked fine. I also then did put the one zoom lens I have, and it tracked it from 14, when you put the little diffuser here panel down on it. It tracked it from 14 up to 40, just like it should in this zoom. Did that real good. We also did bounce tests with it, and those bounce tests looked fine and dandy. Granted, the subject matter is me and my friend Chris. You know, a little different than if we had a pretty model or something to shoot, but we're just trying to get this video done for you today. So, so far we're happy. Now we're going to go outside. We're going to do some remote high-speed sync and see how that looks. But so far I'm really happy. All right, so we've been doing some high-speed sync stuff, and I love it. It's working perfectly. We went up to 8,000th of a second, turned the background completely black like you would expect. We did 500th of a second, no problem. We did 30th. We did all kinds of different shutter speeds, and it synced absolutely great, which is just amazing and phenomenal, especially for the price of this. So real happy. We're going to see if we can fool it now. We're going to put a diffuser over it, and the information from the camera should pick up the exposure, and it's on target. Great. Love the exposure. Now we'll do some exposure compensation. We'll try playing around some more, and we'll let you know how this is going. But so far, folks, it is right on the money, and it's a great value, and it works fine. So, okay, so looking over these, I gotta say, I love the Yongnuo, and I love it mainly for the price. And it's still able to do high-speed sync with a remote control. You know, this box is gold. This has a lot of Chinese instructions at the beginning. Doesn't bother me. It's like there's a whole second half of the book in the manual, and it's actually not bad. It's got a lot of information. It's not the book that comes with the Canon one, but it is there and it is helpful. The transmitter works. It's unbelievable how much these things look alike. And by the way, I don't know why, but the Yongnuo keeps flashing these two lights. We've got it on manual right now, but I'm not sure if I've got a setting wrong. I'll have to check into that. But there you go. I went back to ETTL and it stopped. But anyway, I will say here's some other things I've observed. There is not a button on the Yongnuo. Normally there's a button on the Canon that you engage in order to allow it to go to the little macro setting like down low, or to be able to move it up, or to twist it. The Yongnuo doesn't have that. The good news is it's very, very rigid. When you do turn it, it takes some torque to turn it. The Canon one, you push the button in, and I kind of like being able to push the button in, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Boy, at the end of the day, what really matters to me is the price. So, you know, I can have 2 or 3 of these and a transmitter for the price of one of these and a transmitter. That's pretty amazing. I'm happy, though. The exposures are good. I will say, too, I think that the Yongnuo was a little cooler. Now, it says in the manual that it's at 5,600 Kelvin. I think it was a little cooler. What do you think, Chris? It was probably at about 4,800, maybe 5,000.
It was a little chilly compared. You definitely tell the flash on the Canon was warmer.
And I will say this, that so maybe Canon's is warmer. Maybe this is 5,600, and the Canon just looked a little more warm, about 6,000 or so. And it could be just this came off the line that way and this came off the line that way. I don't know. It's no big deal though. I can compensate for that later. I shoot all raw, but I will say it did look a little bit cooler in terms of the white light type of a feel to it. It looked a little whiter, a little bluer, I guess is the right phrase. So I just want to say, if you're looking at this video and you're wondering, do I get one or not? Absolutely. Because there's no reason to spend money you don't have to. That's my take on it. So I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Thanks.